Before you begin this work, you will need to remove your interior front door panel as well as disconnect the battery. For additional assistance with those tasks, please follow the link provided at the end of this video. It's a good idea to get some components out of the way. You can start by pulling on the inner door handle until the white cable housing, green arrow, is coming out of the mount, yellow arrow, then twist the housing away. Now rotate the handle towards the open end of the hook, green arrow, and detach the hook from the handle. Unplug all of the electrical connections in the mid-range speaker housing. Start with the small connections. You can disconnect them by pulling them straight out. You can carefully use a pick to lever since there's not enough clearance to fit your fingers in there. The larger connector has a lever type release. It has a locking tab you have to push down on while moving the lever over the tab. Rotate the lever a full, green arrow, 90 degrees and the connector will be pushed upwards so you can unplug it. There are 3 Phillips head screws, green arrows, that hold on the speaker housing. Remove these screws and remove the speaker housing from the door. We are now going to remove the side airbag. If you have not already, this requires that we disconnect the battery before we unplug the airbag. After you have disconnected the battery, leave it disconnected for at least 15 minutes before attempting any work on the airbag system. For additional assistance with battery disconnection, please follow the link provided at the end of this video. Remove the 4 10mm bolts that hold down the side airbag and support the bag, green arrows. You will disconnect the electrical connector once the airbag is removed. It is much easier to disconnect the electrical connector this way. When working with the airbags, always face them away from yourself. Squeeze the 2 tabs on the airbag connector and pull the connector straight apart. Place the airbag in a safe place out of the sun with the airbag facing upwards. Peel away the vapor barrier that insulates the inner door panel. Around the perimeter there is a black sealant you can slowly peel off. With the vapor barrier removed, you have exposed the inner door. This gives you access to the window regulator, and the door latch. There are 2 fasteners that you have to loosen to release the clamps at the bottom of the window glass. Loosen the one towards the front of the door and pull the clamp and the rubber loose if you can. Loosen the second fastener towards the rear of the door and pull the clamp and the rubber off the glass if you can. You may be able to unseat the glass with the clamp loose, or you may have to totally remove them out of the glass. Either way, support the glass if you are removing the brackets, or it will fall into the door. There are 2 methods for getting the window glass out of the way when removing the regulator. One is to completely remove the glass. The other is to secure the glass at the top of the door frame while working on the regulator. You can slide the glass all the way up to the top and use a special tool with suction cups to attach it to the window and a cable and connect them together over the door frame, or you can simply remove the glass. I like to pull the glass all the way up and then tape it to the door. If you're removing the glass, allow the glass to drop slightly and pull up on the rear part of the glass while letting the front of the glass drop down a few inches. You are basically rotating the glass about 45 degrees and lifting it out through the upper opening, angling the glass towards the outside of the door. There are 7 fasteners, green arrows, that you will need to remove to get the window regulator assembly out. With the glass out of the way, you can remove these 2 fasteners, green arrows, that support the motor mounting bracket. You can use either a T20 socket to fit inside or an E12 on the outside. With the fasteners removed, a bracket behind the window regulator frame will drop. Make sure you do not let it drop into the door and remember it for installation later. Next, use the E12 torque socket with an extension to reach the 3 upper torque fasteners that support the top of the window regulator. These fasteners run along the top of the door and are accessed through holes in the sheet metal. You will probably not be able to use the internal T20 on these screws. There are 2 screws that support each slide at the bottom of the door. It is tight here, but you can use either a T20 or a 10mm quarter-inch drive or 10mm wrench to remove these fasteners. The one pictured here is the rear slider mount, so look for one towards the front of the door as well. There is a plastic clip, green arrow, that holds the cable housing from rubbing against the glass. With a pick, lever off the clip and remove it. With all the mounting fasteners removed, you can then lift the regulator assembly upwards and pull the bottom of it out of the door and pull the assembly all the way out. You can flex each half of the assembly left to right to make it easier to remove. Just remember, on installations, the cables should form an X pattern. Squeeze both side tabs on the plug for the power window motor and pull the connector off. Try to keep the regulator in the same position and lay it on the floor. This will help you orient it when you install the new one. If you are replacing just the power window motor, you can now swap it out. Remove the fasteners and install the new motor. When installing, work slowly so the cables in the regulator do not unwind. Once properly engaged to the regulator, tighten the fasteners. Installation of all other components is the reverse of removal. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and check out another video in this series.